Hello YouTube land, it's your boy Jackson here, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do a Keospin on a fixed gear. So Keospins, we got to give love to the man who created them, Keo Curry, madman on a bike, really just pushed fixed gear into the direction that it is today. We got to pay respect and show love to the man who really changed this sport. So a little bit of a serious topic for a tutorial video, but it has to be mentioned. Keospins, it's definitely a classic. It's a really cool trick because it's one of the few tricks that you could only do on a fixed gear. You know, if you're a fixed gear rider, which judging from you guys watching this video, you probably are, you know, have this in your back pocket. It's definitely fun to just practice and see how many rotations you can get because it's really pretty limitless. Keospins are not an easy trick. You should definitely be very comfortable doing wheelies, comfortable going fakie. They all sort of tie into the Keospin. Ooh, fucking spider, dude. I'm out of my garage. Sorry for this corny background. I'm gonna have a new set soon. All right, so let's talk about what you guys need before you actually get into doing some Keospins. First is a nice wide open parking lot, somewhere that you're not worried you're gonna run into anything when you're going fakie because you're not gonna be able to see where you're going. You're also gonna want a curb or a wall or something that you can do a nose bonk off of. I personally like riser bars, but for this trick, it's not super important what bars you have. For most tricks, I usually recommend lowering your seat, but not for Keospins. You really wanna be able to sit comfortably and put your body weight into your seat and use that as leverage for the spin. Whatever your regular riding height is should be pretty comfortable for doing this trick. I always advocate for straps and BMX platform pedals. I just think it makes everything to do with tricks easier. For those of you guys want to know, I ride 4616. Always recommend a helmet just because it's probably a good idea. Protect your brain. You only have one of them, so that's pretty much all that you need. Let's figure out how to do a Keospin. To start a Keospin, you obviously have to be riding fakie. If you haven't seen the fakie tutorial, go check that out. I'll link it in the description. You should definitely know how to do fakies and feel pretty comfortable with them before you start learning how to do Keospins. But regardless, part of what makes Keospin so difficult is finding, you know, the right balance point when your feet are in the right position to actually pop and do the Keospin. So I think the easiest way to do a Keospin is starting off of a nose bonk. I recommend doing the nose bonk in your switch foot position, or when you're in the nose bonk, pedal backwards a half crank so that your switch foot is forward when you come out of the fakie. This way, when you're riding backwards, you only have a half crank of fakie before you have to pop the Keospin. That way you're not worrying about trying to keep the fakie balance for a really long time and getting into the right position. You can come off the nose bonk, pedal backwards for half a stroke, and then pop it immediately. I talked about switch foot. If you don't know what your dominant foot is, it's usually the foot that you do skids with, do bunny hops with. I'm personally right foot forward and I spin my Keospins to the left. If you're left foot forward, you should probably spin your Keospins to the right. So once you come out of the nose bonk, you're gonna wanna start your carve almost immediately. It's easiest if you can get into the carve from the get-go. That way you're not, you know, wobbling back and forth. As I mentioned, I do my Keospins to the left, but that actually means when I'm riding fakie that my bars are turned to the right. This carving is gonna give you the pop to actually turn the opposite direction, which sounds weird, but when you're doing it, it makes a lot more sense. So once you're comfortable in the carve and your front foot is in the down position, you wanna take your outside hand off of the bars. Now it might feel weird to take your hands off the bars, but it's pretty necessary to do a Keospin. Gives you a balance point and it also can help your rotation around. So you're gonna take your outside hand off, and remember, I'm right foot forward, I spin to the left, and I take my left hand out. It sounds like a lot to remember, but it's pretty easy because the hand that you take off is gonna lead you around the direction that you spin. Once you take your hands off the bars, you're gonna start to sharpen your carve, and once your feet get to level, you're gonna initiate the pop. Up until this point, you've been pushing backwards to ride fakie, but to initiate the Keospin, you're gonna resist your pedals. This is gonna start your pivot. At the same time, you're gonna wanna really sit back into your saddle and use your weight to lift your front wheel off the ground. At the same time, you're gonna throw your hand that's off the bars the direction that you wanna spin. As you get your front wheel off the ground, your bars will naturally start to turn more towards your top tube, and this will also help you push your bike the direction that you wanna spin. You're gonna wanna start to turn your head and your upper body so that you're seeing where you're going around. Your feet should stay relatively flat while you're in the Keospin. It can be a lot. It's really just a crazy, weird, it really is a weird physics thing. Like, you just get this crazy spinning momentum almost out of nowhere, and it's a lot of just little different things happening all at once that begins the Keospin. And if you did all those things right, which it's a lot to get right, you should be in the Keospin. And from there you can either, you know, do a simple 180, a 360, or even keep it going to a 720, a 1080, whatever, you know, be the Tony Hawk of fixed gear. I want to know how many rotations you guys can do, because it's pretty much limitless. Because there's so much energy going on, there's a lot of potential to fall off your bike. One, you can loop out from leaning back too much. Probably the most common fall, and it happens to me all the time when trying Keospins, is popping it too hard and leaning too far to the inside and falling over to your side. You can correct this on easing up the pop of the trick. You can also think about being more centered over your bike instead of leaned over to the center of the circle. And the inverse of that is if you're not getting enough spin, you can lean over more, pop harder. Also, you can increase your rotation by focusing on spinning on one axis. If you're rolling backwards at all while you're still doing the Keospin, it's gonna slow you down. But if you're really just turning on one point, you're gonna spin a lot faster. At a certain point during the Keospin, you're gonna start to lose your momentum of rotation, at which point you should just start to pedal forward to get out and roll away. It's an amazing trick, it's an amazing feeling. There's no other trick that's quite like it. I definitely took a beating first learning this. I definitely fell over onto my side a lot of times and looped out a lot of times. So be prepared to fall and practice this a lot, because it can definitely take some work. Let me know if you guys have any questions about Keospins or any other tricks. Let me know what trick you guys want me to do a tutorial on next. I'm trying to do a weekly live session on YouTube on Wednesdays, so check that out. You guys can come and ask me questions there. Follow FOAD on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. If you guys want some FOAD gear, go check out foadgang.com. Got a ton of good stuff. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope this helped. Once again, shout out to the legend, Keo Curry. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.